Hi everyone, my name is Sarah Johnson and I am one of 13 food rescue coordinators here at Lovin Spoonfuls. I operate out of the greater Boston area, getting food in the morning from local farms and grocery stores and distributing it to other nonprofits in the Boston area in the afternoons, such as food pantries, soup kitchens, and school programs. I wanted to say a huge thank you to all of the chefs, Charlie, Dora, Amy, and Jesse, and another huge thanks to our sponsor, Bank of America. And a huge thanks to all of you guys for participating and making sure the food is kept out of the landfills and on people's plates. Enjoy.
Good evening. I'm Mihal Chamberlain, Massachusetts President for Bank of America, and I'm thrilled to virtually be here with you for Lovin Spoonfuls Chef-a-Thon. At Bank of America, we are committed to helping advance economic mobility, enabling individuals to achieve their goals and contribute to economic growth. A key way we help build a more sustainable future. We deliver on this commitment by developing partnerships with organizations that help address issues related to workforce readiness, community development, and basic needs, like hunger relief, which is why we're thrilled to work with Lovin Spoonfuls on this year's Chef-a-Thon. I want to thank Ashley and the entire Lovin Spoonfuls team for working around the clock to rescue and distribute healthy, fresh food that would otherwise go to waste to the communities across Massachusetts who need it most. Cheers to our long-standing partnership and continued success. Now let's enjoy tonight's demo.
Welcome to Chef-a-Thon. My name is Dora Tavel Sanchez-Luz, and I'm the chef owner of The Farmhouse and Buttercup. Today, I'm going to be making you our homemade fried zucchini blossoms, stuffed with a homemade ricotta and dredged and fried in a tempura batter. I'm going to show you some blossoms that I harvested from my farm this morning, Sunwashed Farm. These are them, these beautiful blossoms. And when I went out this morning, there were some bees inside, so I let the bees sort of roll around in the pollen. And there was probably about 15 of the male blossoms I could have harvested, but I only took 3 because I want to leave some so that the bees go in and do their business, and then they go and carry the pollen to the females to fertilize them, so then I get my zucchini and squash. Yeah, so that's it. These are the males. We're going to make some ricotta, and then I'm going to show you how to fill them with the ricotta and then dredge them in our own tempura. It's very easy to make, and fry them up, and then that's it. That's the whole deal. We have, in no formal order, the blossoms, which I have on cold wet paper towel just to keep them cold and fresh, so they're easier to clean when you do that. They don't like ball up. A whisking bowl. This is soda water, Pellegrino, whatever you want to use is fine for the carbonation for the tempura batter. Then we have AP flour, all-purpose flour, and rice flour. My salt, I have a little sea salt on the other side. We also use kosher salt just to garnish at the end. For the ricotta, we have buttermilk, heavy cream here, and a gallon of milk. You take a pot, turn on the heat. I'd say medium heat, medium to high. And you're going to put in a whole gallon of milk, a quart of heavy cream, and a quart of buttermilk with a teeny pinch of salt. And then if we head over to the stove, I'll show you what the result was after I let that, have that on high heat for a little while. As soon as I saw the slightest bubble, I turned all the heat off. And then I just let it rest for about 10 to 15 minutes. All right, so here's our ricotta. I like to use a wooden spoon, but you can see how the curds and whey have already separated on their own. Underneath this is all the liquid. So it's a really good consistency. So what I would do is I would take the pot, have a bowl underneath the pot, and I would take the pot and pour it over this chinois or any strainer with as small a space as possible. Something a little bigger than this would be faster to strain, because this is going to be very slow because the weave is so tight. But we would pour it in through here. All the liquid's going to come out, and then you're going to have all your ricotta in here to transfer into the pastry bag. Buttercup and Farmhouse, we're scratch kitchens, so we make everything starting from zero, from scratch. If you didn't want to, or didn't have time, or didn't have all the ingredients to make a homemade ricotta, you can always just go buy any ricotta in the store. Find one that you like, keep it, in your refrigerator, so you have it for times like this when you don't want to necessarily make your own ricotta. The reason we make our own ricotta is because I just want that control to know what's in it. I want to make sure it's super fresh. We make fresh ricotta every single day. We're closed on Sundays and Mondays, but we use it with our cornbread, and we also are doing it with the blossoms. We also do it with beets, a beet dish that we do. So we use the ricotta batch a lot, and it serves us. So it yields probably, I'd say, like 4 cups of ricotta after you strain it. The finished product of the ricotta looks like this. I like something with like a thicker consistency, not too liquidy, so it's easier to make the blossoms nice and juicy and plump. And then when we twist the tops, it holds everything in easier and it doesn't come apart in the fryer. Pastry bag, or you can use a Ziploc bag and just cut a corner in the bottom. So this is just to pipe in. I do add a teeny bit of red chili flake to the ricotta. So that's these little red specks in here that you see as well. Here's an example of a pastry bag, but you can definitely use just a small Ziploc sandwich bag, anything like that. And that's it. So first thing you're going to do is ideally walk out to your farm or garden in your backyard with your cup of coffee or however you roll. And you're going to look for the blossoms that are sort of standing up like this, puffing up their chest. Those are the males. The females are more, they're smaller. They're going to be a little more timid and confined. But these are obviously the males. When I saw them, they were puffing themselves up just like this, If I didn't pick them, I already saw the bees in them, so I don't feel like I was hurting them or anything because the bees had already taken the pollen out of them. So I know that sounds crazy, and I don't mean that like I would hurt the blossom, but I really do think about that kind of thing with other animals, like with cows and bulls and all that. So anyway, here we are. What you do is just very gently roll back the leaves here, and that pointy part is the stamen. So you're just going to stick your fingers in there, pinch it, and then twist a little and take it out. Some people eat them, but I don't think they're the easiest thing for some people to digest. I don't. I just discard it, put it in my compost. So we'll just put it under there for now. And then these little guys, you can leave them on if you want. I just take them off because I think it looks sort of cleaner. And then I keep this on. I just think it adds character. If you buy these at like your local nursery or farm or whatever, they will sell you just this part and usually doesn't have the stem, but I like the stem whenever possible. So there we have that. It's ready to be cleaned. It's ready to be filled. with the ricotta. I'm going to put this down. So we are ready to make our tempura batter. So what you need to do is take, in this case, we have half a cup of rice flour. Pour it in your mixing bowl there. Half a cup of all-purpose flour. A pinch of salt. And then you're going to add your Pellegrino till you get the consistency you like, just really slowly. Some people add an egg and other things like that, but I like to keep it really clean and add as little as possible so you get more of the delicious flavor of the ricotta and the zucchini blossom. That's definitely the right consistency. I wouldn't go any thicker. If anything, it's almost a bit light and thin. That's the thing about rice flour, just like panko, Japanese breadcrumbs, it's got very, it doesn't have the weight and the heaviness. So it's just very light and crisp and a great way to wake up the palate without weighing you down. So that's our tempura batter, so we're ready to go. And now we can actually pipe in the ricotta. So I've taken my ricotta, I've filled the pastry bag, which was here. I used just a rubber band on the top here, cut the bottom there so it's open, and then just holding back, I picked up one of the blossoms that wasn't clean. So that's okay because we're gonna do them all. So just clean it, like I said, they're very delicate. And then we're just gonna pipe in the ricotta. You don't wanna do too much so it doesn't explode. And then at the top, we just twist it a little bit. Like that. And that one's ready to go. Again, let's clean this one. So take off these little guys and take out the stamen very delicately. And then I'm going to pipe in the ricotta once again. And then I'm going to twist this. So that one's done. And then this is the last one. So we're just going to pipe this in here. Just like that. And then press it down a little. And we're just going to twist the top here ever so gently. And they are ready to go. Then we are going to take these guys, dredge them in the flour. Like so. And then we have our fryer already set for 350 degrees, but if you don't have a deep fryer in your house, you can use some canola oil, corn oil, soybean oil, whatever you like, and just use the thermometer and make sure you get it to 350 degrees, and then drop them in, and when they're golden brown, they're done. Simple as that. So we have our blossoms all good to go. I'm going to take a little bit of the ricotta because I'm not putting any sauce on this, and this is also a nice way to present and have the blossoms not move around too much. So just put them any way you like. Again, I like to keep the stem. You may not, that's fine. Either or is great. Make like a little tower here of deliciousness. Just like so. And then we use Malden sea salt. And that's it. Those are the blossoms. Thank you. Good luck. Happy eating, happy cooking, happy farming. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you very much for supporting Lovin Spoonfuls. Please come visit me at Buttercup in Natick. Say that you watched the Lovin Spoonfuls Chef-a-Thon, and I hope you enjoy the recipe.
Dora.
Hey.
Hey, we have known each other for like 15 years now. You reminded me of that the other night.
Yeah.
So we're sitting here in Buttercup, which I love, come to often. Tell me about it. How did you land here? Talk to me about the farmhouse. Like, tell me everything.
In the late 90s, before farm to table became really cool, my dream was always take the ingredients from your own land and use it in your restaurant. When I was a kid, my mom in 1975 bought this farm for $25,000, 165 acres, an old farmhouse.
Wow.
And we would spend our summers going up there on the farm. I never wanted to leave. I'd like go hide under the barns and always have like hay in my mouth. And I was just a little kid. And so, but I also like the city. So it's like finding that sort of urban.
Boston's a good mix for that.
Yeah, exactly. So we opened the farmhouse, and we had a really small yard, but I tilled everything. And then due to the success of farmhouse, we got to move into an old farmhouse. I live in Framingham now, and we have 3/4 acre land, which I turned into a farm.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that we moved there in 2015, 2016. So farmhouse had been open about 3 years. And then we opened Buttercup in a little over 3 years ago. Yeah, so my husband is the chef at the farmhouse, and I just handle private events there and other things, more like front of house things. But at Buttercup, I became the executive chef, and I source as much as I can from Sunwashed Farm. I have chickens. We use all our own eggs to make fresh pasta.
That's awesome.
And essentially in February, I say these are the vegetables that I want to bring into the restaurant for spring and summer. So I plant those seeds, or I start those seeds inside, and then I transplant them outside in the farm, and then those are the vegetables that we have in the restaurant for spring and summer.
So when I'm eating the radishes on the fish tacos, which are my favorite at both restaurants, those are your radishes. You're growing.
Yes, yeah. My zucchini blossoms every day.
That's
you know,
awesome.
I know planning menu-wise, I know what's going to be in season. I know when it's been too hot for peas or there was too much rain. So, you know, the lettuces aren't doing well. I have kind of control if I'm just syncing up with Mother Nature, what's going to work. And there's just so much freedom in that. And I like to challenge myself a lot.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's awesome. And the crazy thing is that so Lovin Spoonfuls has been working out here in the Metro West for over 6 years. And I think so much of the discussion around food and food access, most people think it's relegated to the city. But when we talk about growing food and how we're sourcing food, it's really statewide. And I don't know that anybody would put, you know, growing vegetables in a yard in Framingham, you know, as something that they might be thinking about intuitively. But I think the more we think about it and the more that we get to know our partners, whether it's our restaurant partners or our vendors or even our beneficiaries, which there are so many in this area, Framingham, Natick, all through the Metro West corridor, it's so important for us to try and rethink the way we think about food. But that's your whole food philosophy. That's what you've been doing.
yeah, I mean, like when COVID happened and I thought that the restaurant, you know, the governor said you can't have any in-person dining, and people, you know, were just ordering takeout. Thank God they were ordering takeout. We had so much support, and it was so great. But February and March, I was working on my seeds, and I said, you know, if everything comes to a halt, I just walk outside and I have food to feed my family because I know how to plant and grow my own food. It's sad that my kids are like, well, I don't like that kind of lettuce. And it's because, you know, they're used to something that's in the grocery store.
Right.
So, you know, that only happened one time, but, you know, so it's great that I can take the majority of it and I can be using it in the restaurants, and then everything has a story, right? So the servers can be talking to the guest about where the lettuce is from and what kind of variety of tomato this is or whatever, you know. We try not to waste anything. That's another like major thing about Buttercup and Farmhouse, is that we compost everything, so except for like meat and things like that. So if we're cutting you know, celery or whatever, and, you know, you cut like and leave the root.
Yeah.
I compost that. I bring it all. I feed it to my chickens. The chickens are eating and they're pooping, and then that goes in the soil, and we put that back in the garden. So there's virtually no waste at all, which is great for the climate, and it's good for the farmer too. It's good for the chickens. Everybody's happy.
I mean, that's the whole life cycle of food, right? It's sort of like, it's so closed loop, and seeing it, you know, seeing the same thing a couple of different times in different preparations on a menu. I feel like some people might look at that and say, ooh, I don't know, why, you know, why is it here and there? But I think there's a real sort of strategy and methodology to that, and why it's important to see that utilized in so many different ways.
Yeah, that's like such a good point. I mean, with the ricotta, for example, we did that in the zucchini blossoms, but we also have it as an appetizer with beets.
Yeah.
You know, and we do it with with our cornbread. So
Ricotta's in the cornbread?
Yeah, we do ricotta under the
good.
cornbread.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, like to your point, why not?
I mean, it's awesome.
Thank you.
I think one of the things, though, you mentioned about your kids not wanting a certain kind of lettuce. We have our Plenty program, and the reason why that happened was because we were delivering food to, I think it was the rescue mission, like almost 10 years ago, and they had a volunteer chef who was so awesome and so wonderful, and he was really only used to working with food that he either got donated from food bank or, you know, what he could buy sort of on sale at the store. And we were bringing in like kale and collard greens and everything that you know, are growing out throughout Massachusetts. And he refused a delivery one day, and we were like, why? Like, tell us about this. And he goes, I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to cook with it. I'm not used to it. And I don't think that the folks who are coming here are going to like it, because they want, you know, white bread, peanut butter sandwiches, tuna sandwiches, whatever's easy, whatever's sort of been normally available. And I think that's been such a huge, you know, lesson for us. If we're talking about food, let's talk about how to empower people with food and let them get to know what they're eating and how many different ways you can prep greens or root vegetables. And there's so many things that are just transferable about it. And that's pretty powerful.
Yeah. And like tons of vitamins and all that stuff.
Tons.
Swiss chard is like, I always eat spinach, and I'm trying to eat Swiss chard because they say it's like so much greater in vitamins.
I'm going to have to go eat some Swiss chard now. Well, this is awesome. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
I love your restaurants.
Thank you.
For folks who have not been, if they're watching this, I hope they come in. I hope they flood your reservation books at Buttercup and Farmhouse. It really is farm to table, and it's something that you might not think when you think about, you know, this part of the state or this part of the Metro West, but you guys are doing such awesome stuff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for doing this with us, and thanks for your support.
Always.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's Chef-a-Thon. I want to thank Bank of America for really showing up as a sponsor for not just tonight's event, but for the series as a whole. Bank of America has been tremendous supporters of our work in the community and as we've made the transition here to virtual events. COVID has been so challenging for everybody. And for us, it's been really important that we make sure that we stay connected to you and find different ways to engage our community and make sure that everyone knows what's happening within Lovin Spoonfuls, and making sure that we share this platform with our friends in hospitality, because we know that it's been equally as challenging for them. Chef-a-Thon has given us a chance to really help support much needed funds for our food rescue operations. It also has given us a chance to engage and spotlight some of our favorite chefs and restaurants in the community. Hospitality has been so generous with Lovin Spoonfuls, and really all nonprofits. And here, while they're struggling, it's important for us to make sure that we try to support them as much as possible. So I hope tonight you either got a new recipe or a new restaurant to try. Whether or not you're dining in or taking out, let's make sure that we work together to heal hospitality and make sure that we are supporting those businesses that we know and love and that keep our communities together. Thanks to Chef Charlie, Chef Dora, Chefs Amy and Jesse for participating in this series of Chef-a-Thon. Thank you for joining us tonight. Whether or not this is your first Chef-a-Thon or you've joined us for all of them, your support is so important to our work. Keep in mind, $1 rescues 3 pounds of food, which feeds 1 person for a day. It's a busy fall at Lovin Spoonfuls. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on workshops, events, and volunteer opportunities and everything we have going on. And finally, I am so excited for pregame, which is happening later this fall. Please check our website for updates. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are so grateful for your support.